Hi, so I'd like to show you how you can put in AdSense code in your WordPress blog, kind of the harder manual way, and actually use the code to put in your AdSense, but I'll show you how to do it so it's pretty easy even though we're dealing with code here. So I've got my WordPress dashboard open here, as you can see, and this is one of my sites. So I want to put some AdSense on this site. Let's view the home page here. So I didn't really do a lot to this site yet. It just has a couple of posts on it. And I don't have any ads on here. Let's make sure we turn this off, ad block, to make sure we can see ads if they are here. Okay, I do have ads on there. All right, so there's an ad here, there's an ad here, and looks like we have an ad on the side here. So let's say we want to add another ad box here somewhere. Let's say we want to add an ad box at the end of this content. So after the posts here, we'll add kind of an ad in the bottom there. So if people are looking at the footer, they'll see the ad right in the middle of the page. So let's do that. The first step to doing that is go all the way down to where you want the code to be and right click right there and go to inspect element and click. You'll see on the side here this launches Chrome's developer tools. That shows you a lot of stuff going on in the code and stuff. It looks very complicated. It's not really. It's pretty simple, but this is something we need to get a very key piece of information. So since you clicked off of there, let's go this. Okay, so I just clicked on there now, so it's telling you we're looking at this. So if you look at inside article, if you hover over this, you can see that it's highlighting in blue and green on this side. So if we just click the arrow and look at the code that's in there, so entry meta, entry content, entry header, inside article. The problem there is we're going to have multiples of those because that's each post on the page. So what we need to do is we need to go inside the main here. If you see the main right here, primary. So right sidebar, that's this over here. If you can see that lights up kind of when you roll over it. So this is your primary, which is the left side. And then if we do main here, you can see that that's where the content is. So we want to put our AdSense code inside main, but not inside article. So we want our ad to be right inside main. Now that we've identified that's where we want it, we're going to have to go find that in the code itself and then put our AdSense code in there so that the ad will show up down there. So let's go into our WordPress dashboard, and if you go to Appearance, you have to be an admin to see this, but if you go to Editor down here, okay, so here's all the code, and you should see this Update File button here. If you don't see that, you'll have to edit the permissions, but most WordPress blogs have this right here, so you can edit the code. And what we need to find is, so this is the home page that we're on right now. This is just the home page, so it's the .com. You can see that at the top. We're not on like another page, so this is the home page. And by default in WordPress, the home page is actually called index.php. So main index template is the page we want. And then you wouldn't really know that unless you'd spent a lot of time messing around with WordPress themes. But that is the page that we want. There's other pages in here, so page, search page, sidebar, there's all kinds of different things. But the main index is really what you want. So let's click on that. Now if we go down, you can see here is our tag that ends the main. So we saw that in the code. If you go back and look at that again, you can see it's /main. That's the box that we're looking at. If you scroll down, that's what we're looking at. That's where we want our code to be. So we can do a little test here to see if that's really where we want our code. Right in here, let's say, okay, and I'm going to tab over and say this is where an ad will be. Okay, so now we'll hit save, update file here. Okay, so let's save that. Now if we refresh this page, you should see what we just typed. Okay, so that's where that is. The problem with that is it will be outside the white box, and that's fine if you want that to be in the gray between the white sections here, but I want it to be inside the white box. So main, it may not be where we want it to be. So there's this, it has all those spaces around it. So article here looks like that white box is part of article. So we may have to change our idea here to put the code inside there, inside the article box, but that will make it so that it's in every single post in here. So if that's not how we want it, then we'll have to do some more tricks to get that to work. But for now, I'm just going to show you how you can put it in the end of every post, so it's between posts. So if we take our code out of here, let's just say we want to move it into articles. So now let's see, where's our article at? Okay, so generate after main content. So this is doing something after the main content. So let's try doing this still in the end of the content without having to put it inside the article. So I'll paste that back in. You don't have to tab this over. I just like to keep it a little bit more organized. Okay, scroll down, we'll update file again. If we go back to here again, let's test and make sure that that's where we want it. Okay, reload the page. If we go down, okay, so that's still not in the right place. So the white box is ending before we're getting our code in there. So let's just pull that out. That's still too late. So if you look here in the code, if you see here, there's primary. That's a box. So div means division. That's just kind of a big container that holds all this. So primary is something we saw. Okay, here's the beginning of main. If you see that, so that's the beginning of the main box that we had the end of down here. So see, here's the end. Here's the beginning. So inside main, you can see right here, what does it do? Okay, do action, generate before main content. This theme is actually pretty explanatory. It shows you what it's doing and it labels things easily. So start the loop. Now, as you might imagine, the loop is what prints out every post in PHP. So this is kind of the beginning of the post. So it says if it has posts. So while there are posts, I want you to output the post. That's what it's saying basically. So, and then here, this is the content format. So this is actually where all the content gets outputted in WordPress. Now, if you go over to this side, you'll see, I'm going over to the right, right-hand side, you see content here. That's the template that this pulls. So content PHP on the right side here is really what we're pulling in right here. So we can do this. Okay, and then this is the end of the post here. So let's try putting our little test phrase right in here. I'll tab that over. Let's just see if we can do it after the post loop and see if that still shows up at the very bottom of our content inside the white box, and it does not. So we do have to put it inside the article, which is a little annoying because I only want it to be once at the end of the page, but we will fix that in a second. Okay, so we can put this inside the end while, so that'll be inside this loop. So every post will have an ad at the end of it. Now, if you want to do that, this is how to do it. Otherwise, we'll have to come up with something a little more clever. So if we do it now, it should be inside the white box. Let's see. Oh, it's still outside the article. Okay, so we're still not inside the loop that we want to be in. Okay, so we'll remove that again and we'll save. So really, if we want to get this inside every post, let's go to content.php. Okay, so now this is what is inserted. See, it starts with article and it should end with article. There we go. So that's inserted in every single WordPress post that we have on there. So let's try putting this phrase at the end of our post, and it should show up in every post because it's inside that loop that kind of prints everything out. So it should be in there. Let's see here. Okay, nope. Okay, so apparently the style that makes this white box happen is not the article. Let's go look at inspect. Okay, inside article. Oh, so we're still just outside of it. All right, that's annoying. Some themes are like this where you can't really tell where things are until you do it. So entry meta footer. Okay, so we want it right after the footer inside here. Okay, that's really the location we want it at. So let's scroll down and pick it up again. Okay, inside article div. So right here, this is really where we want our code to end up. And so article div, this should be right inside of there. Let's save that. Okay, now we should see it inside the white box right after that footer. There we go. So that's where the ad will be. That's what we want. So now what we want to do is let's insert our AdSense code and make sure that it looks good there, and then it should show up in every post. So I'm going to go, I've already opened this up. I've got a list of all my ads. You'll see this when you create an ad in AdSense. If you have an AdSense account, you've already seen this most likely. So let's go copy the code here. We want it to show up there. So all we'll do now that we've tested it to make sure where we know it's going to be, we will just paste in our AdSense right there. And I'm again going to tab it over. Oh, it doesn't want to let me do that. Okay. I guess I just deleted it. Let's do this. Okay, we won't tab it over. I just like to keep it organized. We can do, I'm used to using a code editor. That's how you normally tab that whole block over, but we can do it little by little. Let's see, Google likes to print this all out so it's easy to read. It doesn't matter. You can print it out. You can make it all one line because it's all one tag, but that's okay. Okay, so that's all of our script code in there. In fact, it's a little bit better if we add a comment here. If you're familiar with HTML comments, okay. So this will say start AdSense. So the comment will just, it won't appear on the page, but it'll show us where we're starting our code so we can find it again if we ever want to change it or add to it. So we'll say here, we'll say end AdSense without a T because you don't spell it that way. And then I like to outdent this a little bit so that when I'm coming through and I'm reading, I can go, oh, there it is. So it's sticking out a little bit. All right, so let's save that. And we removed our other code. So we have our test out. Let's see. Now we should see ads in the end of our content here. And there we go. Now the problem here is it's centering in the post. Let's get rid of our developer tools here for a minute. So it's centering in the post, sort of. That doesn't look very good. So what we can do is add a little more space between here and then maybe make this ad go all the way over to this side. Let's see. Let's see if we can find where it starts. There's all this crazy stuff that Google put. Oh, here we go. So start AdSense is right here. If we click on the script, here's the insert tag. Okay, so that is what Google's doing. Let's tell it we want it to be justified to the left over there. So inside our AdSense here, let's add a div. A div is just another little box that keeps things straight. And then let's say style inside the div, and then we're going to say align. Oops, we're going to say text align like that, and we're going to say left. So, oh, I spelled it wrong again. Yeah, that's always good. All right, so div with a style of text align to the left, and when we're done, it just has to wrap around the insert, but I want to wrap it around the whole thing. And we need to close our div here. Okay, so we have an open div and a closed div, but let's again tab that in. And I'm going to tab that in a little bit more so that I can find it later. And it's always good to tab things over because now the div is outside and all of this is on the inside. So we want to kind of step it down so we know where things are and we know what belongs to what. So I'm going to save that and go back to here. Let's see if that does anything for us. Okay, so as you can see now, it's now justified to the left. The problem is there's no space still, and we want that to look better. So inside here, let's see. Let's just put a hard space in there. You can do this with CSS, and that's probably better to do that. But I just want to put one hard space in there because this is a pretty simple project, and I don't want to write all kinds of CSS just to do this. Okay, so see, there's some space between there now. That's the kind of, so you can see that I'm highlighting the space, not the ad. So that's the space that'll be between there, and it looks pretty good. We can refresh to see different ads and see if they, okay, so that looks a lot better. There's an ad at the bottom of this. Now, the interesting thing is, we'll probably have to remove one of these because we have more than 3 on the page and Google doesn't allow that. So what we'll do is maybe we'll take this one out of the header. I do have a plugin installed right now. Let's go to AdSense here in the settings. This plugin manages all the AdSense. There's another video on my channel about this that helps you to define AdSense areas. That's easier than trying to do what we just did in the code. Let's see, there's already ad placements on there. Okay, so it's telling us, sorry, I can't edit some of the ad things. Well, that's because we just added our own at the bottom. So see, it's saying, okay, this did not happen with the plugin, so I can't do anything to it because you put the code in manually, but that's how our ad appears. So you can see how that works. Let's remove this one because that looks really annoying. I can't believe that I actually put that in there. And left it to die. So, they're not going to let us save this. Cancel. All right. Hopefully it'll let us save it this way. Yeah, when you put in AdSense with code, it kind of messes with the plugin a little bit, and it doesn't like it. Yeah, it's not letting us do it. Okay, so we might have to like remove that code first before it will let us remove one of those deals there. Okay, so we will have to, oops, we'll have to do that. All right, come on, behave window. There we go. Let's see here. Okay, we'll close that. No, we don't want to save. Okay, so now let's go back to our appearance editor. Oops. Editor, and we'll go back to the content page, which is where we were. Content template, and if we get rid of, if we just remove this, it'll make the whole thing a comment. So we basically told it, okay, start here and end there, and don't show any of that stuff in the comments. So now if we remove that, okay, so that's removed. Now if we go back to the plugin here, we can go edit our ads. It shouldn't find our code because we deleted that. Okay, so yeah, it didn't have a problem that time. We'll remove that, save and activate. There we go. Close. Now here's the thing. A lot of times AdSense, the plugin here, doesn't allow you to put ads in a spot like this. So that's why we're doing this with the code, because the AdSense tool in WordPress doesn't let you do that. So this way we can get really precise exactly what we want out of the ads that we put in. All right, so now we have to go back to the appearance editor, back to the content template, and then all we need to do is remove the end of this comment that I put in and put that back up here. So now all of this code will become active again. And then let's go double check our site. And yeah, it's probably not a great idea to use both methods of the plugin, which I had there before, and use the manual way of putting your code in like this, because they will conflict with each other and they'll be a pain in the butt. But you know, it's kind of up to you how you want to do that. We could do the same thing with this one. It just centers in the whole box, but we could have it automatically put this over here to the left to make it look better in line with the content. And then it won't look like it breaks the page so much. So we could do that as well. We could put another ad up here, and we could just remove the AdSense plugin completely if we wanted to. But for now, I think I'll just leave that. Anyway, I just want to show you how to do that. It is kind of a little bit of trial and error to find where you want to put your ad in your page, because where you think it's going to end up sometimes doesn't actually work the way you think it will. And, you know, I mean, I've been doing code for a long time, and still just how things get rendered is just strange, and you can't always guess. So kind of trial and error, saving it, trying it again, and doing it over again a couple of times is the best way to figure out, you know, how you want to put it, exactly where to put it. And so that's how you put that there. And you can do that pretty much anywhere on your WordPress site. If you wanted to see that again, you just right click and go to inspect element, or on Windows, you can hit Control-Shift-I. I believe on the Mac it's Command-I to open up the code editor thing over here. And that's how you can find an element, whatever you right click on. So you could right click on this actually. and it'll show you where that appears in the code here. You can actually make this its own window if you go to here, and you can blow it up a bit. Whoa, that's way too big. You can blow it up a little bit, and then you can kind of see, where that actually is in the code, and you can find your ad. So here's our start AdSense, end AdSense. That's actually our AdSense code that we inserted in the page, and this is the resulting ad. So anyway, I hope this has been really helpful for you. If you have any other questions or any other problems in the land of WordPress or JavaScript or code or anything like that that I can help answer, I would love to do so. Just send me a message here on YouTube, send me a message at my website, which is overthink.io. I will take you there really quickly. Overthink.io. You can send me a message here. You can email me. My email is don't@overthink.io. Here you go. Here's some ads that look a little worse because I haven't done the edit method to them yet. But there's some ads. There's some posts on here. There's a lot of good information on our website here if you want to check it out. There's some code snippets. There's some other videos on how to do some things. So anyway, let me know if I can help you in any way, and I would be happy to do that. Until next time, I'm signing off.